Hey, hey, hey. What's going on? Are we here?
Hey.
Hey, hey.
Oh.
What's up, everybody? It's 7 o'clock on Wednesday. It is the Death Rattle Podcast right here on YouTube and on Twitch. We're back on Twitch. And it's us. We're here. We're live. I'm probably gonna look a little weird because I used to have two monitors. Now I have one. And so I was using my other monitor to be able to look like I was looking at everybody, but now I can't. So I'm still sort of messing with my stuff. And when it's set, I'm gonna look a little more like I'm actually engaging. But right now it's just gonna look like I'm looking at your ear. So sorry about that.
Why can't you just move the monitor over?
Well, because I can, but it's a curved monitor, and I have
camera over.
Because the way my PC is set up is I have my PC all the way over here, and the cord only goes so far. So I can.
So you just need a longer cord. You disappeared.
Yeah, sorry. I see that's. I tried to go a little bit further. Hang on, let me try to. Hello, are we here? Hang on.
We can hear you, just can't see you.
I gotta plug it.
So what's up, guys? Welcome to the show. I thought DJ was going to be late, but he surprised me with being on time and then started messing with stuff and confused me. I was like, what did I do wrong? And then I realized that he was messing with the stuff and that he was here. So what is up, John and Ochiv, Wolfbane? Who else we got? CJ here. Citizen Sleeve. Night Owl Widow or Nightingale Widow. B-movie theater.
I should be back. Am I back?
Nope.
Oh my God.
It shows a screen that shows you being disconnected.
What?
We can hear you, but just can't see you. It's Ralph. What's up, Ralph? Who else? Heather. How is everyone? Jazzman. Joe Baguette. Joe Baguette. And Heather. You're kind of back.
I know there's the OBS logo.
Yeah.
Listen, the guy that was giving us.
Why is OBS on, dude?
I don't know.
We're on StreamYard.
I know. OBS is not on. It's just I have a virtual camera and it wants it.
It's only showing the virtual camera, not you.
I know it wants to keep going to the virtual camera. Oh my God. Somebody was trash talking our technical issues, and they're gonna have a field day with this. All right, so if you guys can hear me though, I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah, we can hear you
while this comes back. But thanks for joining us, everybody. We got a lot of news that we're talking about tonight.
Now he's gone, completely gone. Anyway, what he was saying is we have. What's up, James? James Hughes. Anyway, we have quite a bit of news going on. We're going to talk about they canceled Saw 11, or at least that's the way it appears. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what else did we have on here? Darren Aronofsky in talks to direct Stephen King Cujo for Netflix. So that could be interesting. And then Neill Blomkamp directing the new Starship Troopers movie. And then I am going to talk about a couple movies I saw briefly. I'll talk about them more in, one of my upcoming videos, but I saw two movies that are in theaters right now. Last week, I saw Opus and Ash. Ash actually comes out tomorrow. So I saw it at me and my friend went to an earlier screening of it and saw it the other day. And then last week I saw Opus. So, I'll start with Opus, I guess. It's an interesting movie. Very, very weird. Actually, I got to find out because DJ was trying to see it, so maybe he saw it today. So I'm not sure. We'll give him a minute, see if he comes back. So I'll talk about Ash first. It's the one I'm the more excited about the two anyway. Ash is just a really great little sci-fi horror movie. It has elements of Alien in it, elements of The Thing in it. And I'm not saying it's on that level of movie. It is not a game changer or anything like that. It's a very small budget kind of movie. It's going to Shudder in May. I believe it should be out on Shudder in May, but it's going to be in theaters starting tomorrow. And I think if you're looking for a new indie movie to go see in theaters, it's definitely worth hunting down. It gets gross, it gets gory, it gets some body horror. It's very, very sci-fi. It looks gorgeous. It's done by the musician / videographer. He's made music videos and stuff called Flying Lotus. And it's just, it has a lot of it feels like Mandy to me. Like not quite as hypnotic, but it has that acid rock, colorful, stylized way about it. And it just looks awesome. Like a lot of the movie, they're on this, the whole movie really, they're on this foreign planet, and just the way the visuals is really, really cool. So can everybody see me okay still? And hear me okay? B movie, you just saw Nosferatu and Hard Eyes. Nice. Yeah, both those are a lot of fun. Definitely see Companion. Like if of between Hard Eyes and Companion, I would recommend Companion a little bit above Hard Eyes, even though I really enjoyed Hard Eyes too. Hard to make Cujo better. I wouldn't think it's about making it better. I think that's something that too many people think of when they talk about remakes, is that you're trying to make it better. And it isn't about that. Because if you're trying to go and remake a movie, especially if it's like a classic of any kind, you're not going to make it better. It's just your goal is to make it different. Take that same source material and do it in some different way. And that's why I think the sequels that work the best are the ones that, hey, he's back.
This is your fault.
Remakes that the remakes that I think are the best are the ones that just do their own thing and make a new movie, take that source material, but do something different with it. Because you're not going to make it better. And I think as fans, that's not how we should be viewing them either. Like we can't go into a remake and look for it to be better, because that's not going to happen. It's just not going to live up to it. You know, it's going to be hopefully just different. It's like the It remake, right? If you went in and saw It and wanted it to be better than the TV miniseries, a lot of us would have been disappointed because it feels super, super different. But like there is a world, like the world that I live in, where I love both of them. I didn't need one to be better than the other. They're just different movies to me, different takes on the same source material. So anyway,
I'm trying to think of what remakes. I'm trying to think of what remakes I might have seen that were better than the originals. I know there's at least one out there. But yeah, I can't remember.
There are a few. I mean, because if we're talking about same source material, which is really what should be being done, remaking a movie is a bad idea. Taking that same source material and making your own version of it, that's a good idea. And like that was done with The Thing, because The Thing was from the same source material of Thing from Another World, just like the first movie was, but it was super different. Then you got super dark all of a sudden.
I know, it's because I'm looking at a super dark screen and I haven't set up my lighting.
Oh, okay. No worries. We can hear you good.
Yeah, I should be brightening up here in a second.
No worries. But yeah, so I mean, like, I just don't think you should, as a filmmaker, if you should never set out trying to make a better movie, because the moment you're thinking of that movie, you're gonna make garbage. It's like the reason I don't like the 1998 version of Psycho. It's because it literally was just the exact same movie. They didn't do anything
I didn't even
new.
watch it.
It was like pretty much a shot for, it was like 98% shot for shot the same movie. Like there's
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
tiny differences. And it's like immediately that's just not like, why see it? If you're going to do shot for shot, but just simply colorized, that's just stupid. You got to do something different.
I think remakes or homages, because the Soska sisters did a remake of Rabid, and that was their like homage
good,
to Cronenberg. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty good, and I love.
But it's different.
Sisters. But so here's what they did. Though.
Pretty different.
No, it is, and this is what they did, and this is what I think you should do. If you're gonna remake a movie, what I think you should do is make it your own. Like make it so like if I were to have made this movie, and that's what I think, and that's also what I think bands should do when they do cover songs. If you're gonna do a cover song, write that song as if you were writing that song. You know, Don't try to hit.
You could take the same inspiration. Yeah, like before you came back on, that's exactly what I was saying. It's like, you know, take that same inspiration, but then make your own art with it. And like as a fan, that's what you should be looking for when you see a movie. Don't like if you compare it to the original, most of the time you're just not gonna like it. Like you're not, because it's either gonna be exactly the same, like a 1998 Psycho thing, which is crap, or it's gonna be very different, which you're not gonna like either, because you're comparing it to the original, and which means you love the original, so it's never gonna live up to that. It's why I love not Resident Evil, the Evil Dead 2013, you know, quote unquote remake, is because it's just taking the same idea and then it did its own thing with it.
Yeah,
looks different, feels different. You know, they're not even the same characters in the movie. Like, you know what I mean? It's just it does what you should do. To me. So anyway, so that was us talking, I guess, about Darren Aronofsky doing a Cujo for Netflix. I think
we already hit on it. Do you want me to read the
I want you to, because I wasn't planning on going into that story yet. I was just mentioning what we were going to talk about. Yeah, and then that comment came up, and so I started talking about sequels. So, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to pull the story up, so definitely
okay.
Pull that up.
Well, let's did we say hi to everybody?
Might as well start with that one. Yeah.
Carter in the chat.
Yeah, I said hi to everybody.
Abraham, what's going on? Citizen Sleeve said, I think we had this conversation a few weeks ago, stuff like the Blob. Yeah, I remember that too. The Thing and the Fly. Yeah, I think the Fly remake is better. I think the original movie is still good.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
I mean, once again, I just don't think you should compare them, because they're very different movies. And that original, for what they were working with, and then in that time period, dude, it was groundbreaking. Like, it is heartbreaking. Like, that movie is so sad.
Yeah.
Like, the ending of that especially is just the most haunting feeling you're left with. So it's like, I think you shouldn't compare them. They're just great movies that are taking the same idea and did it in different ways.
So I'm going to change the resolution. Whoops. Here we go on my camera, because internet again, and we're going to go into it. So let me share the story. Since we're already talking about it, we might as well go into it. Where are we?
Yeah, Hello? It's a good segue into it.
All right, here we go. So Neill, this looks
Neill Blomkamp.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it to where. Can we go away, please? Here we go. Darren Aronofsky in talks to direct Stephen King's Cujo for Netflix. This is from Bloody Disgusting, and a screenshot from the old movie. Stephen King's killer dog classic Cujo is headed back to the screen with a new adaptation in the works from Netflix. We learned last week, and the film's director may have been found. The Hollywood Reporter confirms a scoop from Jeff Snyder this week, reporting that Oscar-nominated filmmaker Darren Aronofsky, Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, Mother of the Whale, is in talks to direct Stephen King's Cujo for Netflix. THR notes that their report this afternoon, quote, the feature project was only revealed last week, but it's clearly further along than known or moving on the fast track. Stay tuned for more as we learn it. And then there's just a bunch of factoids about Cujo. So there we go. So Darren, good Lord, Darren Aronofsky fans, you guys might be excited. I have
anyone that enjoys well-made films should be excited, because if his name is on this, it has a good chance at being a good movie. He's a very talented filmmaker.
He's hit or miss with me as far as movies. So like, I liked Requiem for a Dream. It's one of my favorite movies. I thought Black Swan was good. I thought Mother was trash.
What?
I thought that movie was complete garbage.
As a film, it's super well made. Like, you may not like it. What did you not like about Mother? It's an incredible movie. Like, it's depressing. It's fucked up. But it's super well made. It
felt very masturbatory, and like Darren Aronofsky was talking about what?
You know what it's like, the meaning of it, right? Like what it's
I do. I don't think Darren Aronofsky does. I think Darren Aronofsky is writing out of his ass for that movie. That's what I think. I was not a fan. It looked good, but coming out of it was just like,
she's supposed
this
to
guy
be
doesn't understand.
Mary, like the mother of God, of Jesus. Like,
I know exactly what the film was trying to portray, and I just don't think it did a good job. And I thought its commentary, I thought what he was trying to say about it was pretty, I don't know, just like he didn't really have a grasp on it. And it's been, I only saw it in the theaters. I haven't seen it again after that. So if I need to watch, I probably need to watch it again to really talk about it like in depth, in detail.
Yeah.
But I just remember in the theater, because when did that come out? Like 2013?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. So like almost like over 10 years ago. So I need to watch it again.
I have a feeling you would have a little bit of a different take if you rewatched it now.
I don't know, man. I have a problem.
But I mean, yes, he is a little bit of a pretentious filmmaker. There's a bit of that in him, like where he can go too far with it. It's kind of like the way I feel about oh fuck, what's the guy that made the house that Jack built? Oh,
I don't remember. I know you're talking about
movie. Damn it.
Hang on.
Like the way I feel about him as well, like where he's an incredible filmmaker, super talented, but
Lars von Trier.
Yeah, he has a bit of like, there's a little bit of this hubris, and sometimes he can go too far with that, and his stuff can be a little bit, like you said, masturbatory, like where it's a little bit like filling himself a bit, you know, instead of trying to entertain you or make a good story. So there's a bit of that in Mother. I'm not saying there's not any of that in Mother, but I still think
I think Citizen,
damn good filmmaker.
What Citizen Sleep? Yes, he's a good filmmaker, but
that's all I was saying. I'm not saying everything he does is the best movie ever, but like there's a good potential. Like, I think if you can get his name or someone of that caliber attached to something that is a really good source material, you know, Cujo is a very powerful story, you know what I mean? And it could be done really, really well by the right filmmaker. So
yeah,
but like it's impossible to know if it'll be good or anything yet. I'm just saying, like, that's a big name to attach as a filmmaker. It gives it potential.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna watch it. You know, I'm gonna watch it. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not the biggest Cujo fan.
Me neither.
Like, I mean, it's like it's one of those, like, it would be really low on my list of movies to remake. It was like cool at the time, but it was in that whole era of, like, it feels like it's of that time of Jaws, where there was a lot of animal attacks and, you know, hyper real, that kind of thing. And it's like, there's been so many movies made like that have been really good. But at the end, it's still, like, I don't know. I just don't get super excited about the hyper real movies in general. Like that movie Fall, where they're at the top of the giant thing.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that yet. Yeah.
It's really good. Like a lot of those kind of movies, there are ones that are really, really good. Like, but to me, I just don't get super excited by them, if that makes sense. Because they're generally not super creative. It's like, yes, they're intense, you know, like they're heart pounding, but at the same time, there's usually not a ton of creativity in them. And it's just like, I don't know. They remind me a little bit of a roller coaster where it's just like, that's it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's not substance. Like you don't remember them after the fact. Whereas, I mean, I think there is some substance in Cujo, and that's really what could make a remake a good movie, is if the story elements beyond the dog attack part, if that is really well done and interesting.
I mean, yeah, I think the way, like, for modern storytelling and stuff like that, the way to adapt Cujo is, like, Cujo needs to represent something. Like, there needs to be something going on within the family, and Cujo represents what that is. You know, like
that's what I mean. To build up his story as well as the mother and son story more. Like let's get more about those. And so the attack of the car and all that, because it could be like Flanagan did with Gerald's Game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like Gerald's Game is an amazing movie, and it has nothing to do with, like, what makes it amazing is not that she's trapped in this room. It's all of the things that are built around that incident.
Right.
You know, the stuff with her dad, the, like, you know, the stuff with her husband, like all those, like you said, all those meanings, the allegories, all the different layers to the story beyond the incident is what made it good. So
yeah. Nightingale says anti-drug ad is Requiem for a Dream. Yes, that movie is the reason why I do not do drugs. Is because I watched that movie in high school and was like, well, I'm out. And they've just never
but there's so many drugs that are not like like it's all about.
I know.
There's different types of drugs. Some of them can be fun, and
you know what I'm talking about.
It's all about.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It can be a slippery slope, man. It can be a dangerous world to go down. But
what's up, Leslie? Good to see you. Anarchy says everyone has that director that they dislike, but the rest of the community loves. For me, it's Ari Aster. Hereditary and Midsommar are beloved. I just couldn't get into them. I liked Hereditary. I did not like Midsommar, so I'm there with you.
Which is so weird to me. Like, that seems like a movie that would be right up your alley because it's super strong. The story of it, the dialogue of it, like that's
all the characters really I hated. I couldn't stand any of the characters. I hated her. I hated him.
Supposed to.
I hated their dumb friends. No, you need to have a character that you latch onto, that you don't want to. If your movie, you want everybody to die because of how stupid they are, that's not good. That's not good writing. That's not good. Okay. You need to have something like, we were supposed to sympathize with her, but we can't because she's just whining the entire time.
No, but that's what I think makes that movie interesting, is because there are elements of every character in that movie that are like flawed, and like there is no one character that either deserves to die or is totally likable. Because like there are things about her that you can relate to. There's things about her that you like or feel for, but then in the end you're like, dude, she's a selfish bitch.
So the only person that I actually cared about, I'm trying to find him on IMDb because I always forget his name. Josh, the guy played William Jackson Harper, his character. I was like, he's cool. And then, sorry guys, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Midsommar, where's our so if you haven't seen Midsommar, I'm going to give a spoiler.
Even he is selfish as hell.
Not really. He's there to study. That's all he really wants to do. And
remember he like you remember what he does that gets him killed?
He goes into a building he doesn't know he's not supposed to be in and reads a book.
No, he is told matter-of-factly, do not go in there. He asked to see it, and they tell him, no, you're not allowed to see this. And he sneaks in there and gets the book. Otherwise, I think you might have lived. Who knows? But that's what I mean. Like, even the guy that's nice to her, the guy that is from that land, right? He seems all nice and innocent and all that. But then in the end, he's just trying to move in on her and get her to kill that dude. So it's like everybody in it is flawed and has things that you don't like about them. There's gray area through all of it, and so I totally get you not enjoying it because of that. and I don't know if I think Midsummer is an enjoyable movie, but I think it's like a really,
but it's good.
Yeah, it's a really well done.
The characters are
a really
bad,
well done piece of art.
Sounds like an IGN 7.5 review on a game that they. Sorry, that's what that reminded me of.
I had someone call me pretentious today because they said I was a pretentious critic because I say every movie is great and something like that. And I'm like, for one, it's an entire list. It's a video of 10 movies that I highly recommend. So that means that I think they're all great.
That's usually what that means.
It's not list of, it's not a really, like, some people get confused and think that I'm doing like a review thing, but it's like, it says recommendations. Like I say recommendation, like their recommendation list.
I want to address something real quick. Allison says, dude, whining is a bad word choice. She lost her entire family. Yes. And that's terrible. That sucks. But then when your entire character arc is, I'm sad I lost my family, I'm sad I killed my boyfriend. That's your whole arc. For bad reasons, too. He was raped and drugged and...
No, she's not sad. She's not sad at the end.
She's... It's hard to tell what she is. The way that I saw it was that she was forced to make some decision that was hard for her and then finally feels vindicated at
I don't think it was.
But then... I mean, it's a hard decision to make, to kill somebody, whether or not they're a piece of shit. Like it's still a hard decision to make. But then we're supposed to.
I think at that point her mind is like broken.
We're supposed to believe as an audience that she's like vindicated somehow. And if we're not supposed to believe that, that's the way that it was presented. So I don't know.
Well, no, and that's what I like about the movie. That is what I appreciate and like about it, is that it makes you have these questions. It is like one of those where you got to come up with your own, you got to kind of figure out your own answers to what it's saying and what it's doing. Like, I like that a lot. I like that there's complex characters, that nobody is the good guy, but nobody is also totally the bad guy. Because like he's a shitty boyfriend, but he doesn't deserve it. Yeah, he is a piece of shit.
They go out of their way to be like, this guy sucks. He sucks.
He does suck. He's a shitty boyfriend.
They all do. They're all also, they're all bad characters
in a bad situation.
That's why I wasn't interested in trying to figure anything out. I was like, I kind of hope you all die.
But that's the flaws of most humans. Like I think everybody.
God,
if you were to like dissect us all, you know what I mean? You'd find good and bad with every human.
Wait, go back 10 seconds. I disconnected for like 10 seconds. Go back 10 seconds. What'd you say?
I think that's what's interesting about it, is because that's humans in a nutshell. Like we all have flaws, and in the right, like through the right lens, can be seen as a shitty person, or at least have doing shitty things. It also could be seen as a good person. It depends on the lens and the situation we're in. That's what I like about that movie, because I don't think her boyfriend is inherently a bad guy. He gets in over his head. He's a shitty boyfriend, but he hasn't wanted to be with her for like a long time. And so the biggest mistake he makes is just not having the balls to do the right thing. And it's the same with her in a way. It's like she deserves better, but at no point does she demand better from a partner or from anyone around her. And her whole life, she just kind of goes along with it and is whiny. Like she is whiny. She is meant to be seen as whiny and condescending. And like that is exactly the point of the movie. It shows everybody has these fatal flaws, so to speak. And that's what leads them to this moment.
But
there is no happy ending. There is no good outcome in a situation like that. That's what he did with Hereditary as well. Like but they're all no. Hereditary is different. There's the Hereditary is different. I'm not going to agree with that. I think the characters are much more enjoyable to watch. You're actually curious about what's happening in. I'm
whereas
saying
in Midsommar,
it's this funnel. It's a funnel of like
Okay, but if you're going to show that,
what I'm talking about is it's a funnel into there is no happy ending. Everything is funneling to this moment where it's just fucked. That's all I meant. Both those movies. I think that's kind of his thing in general. Like even in Beau is Afraid, it's like he just keeps going down this path that in a lot of ways he makes for himself because he doesn't stand up to his mom. He doesn't stand up to these situations in life. And he just continually gets led down this path that he's making for himself because he won't change. He won't be strong. He won't stand up. So like, you know what I mean? That's a lot of the themes that Ari Aster's working with. Like they're different movies, different characters. I mean, Hereditary is a modern masterpiece. So like, I personally don't think that Midsommar is at the same level as Hereditary. So I'm not saying that, but I do still think it's a really good movie. Yeah. Like I just rewatched it and if you're gonna appreciate it more now.
If you're going to present this situation where it's like, here are these characters and we're going to give them choices where it's going to be clear whether or not it's the good choice. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to give you a reason to actually care about them. We're going to give you some tragic backstory that is supposed to make you feel, something for them. But
no, I don't think it is.
Well, I think that's what the movie tried to do because otherwise, who cares?
I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. I don't think it's ever. These are just pawns. They're literally just like pawns that are in a funnel and you're watching their destruction. I don't think there's ever I don't think there's any intention in that movie to make you care about them as like people or have a rooting interest in any of them. And that's what I like. I like filmmakers that do something different and don't just do the same traditional bullshit of like, we have the good guy, we have the bad guy, and there's a clear delineation between.
I'm not saying you have to do that. But you have to give us something endearing about these characters, and there's nothing endearing about.
You don't. No, you don't.
You don't.
No, not when it's because they're literally just pawns. They're just characters.
So in what they can be pawns. They can be but they can be characters. There are no characters in Midsommar. They're all two-dimensional people. They have one emotion all the time. That's not a character.
Exactly.
That's
no,
bad
you're
writing.
just watching this
because people aren't like that. People are not two-dimensional. People are three-dimensional. They have different facets of each other. You can look at somebody from a lens and see them as a piece of shit, or from another lens and see them as a really good person. We all have flaws. We also all have virtues. Okay. We also all have things that endear us.
You're only seeing that.
But when you're telling a story
because that's their fatal flaw.
When you're telling a story, no, but okay, you can show flaws, you can show fatal flaws, you can show things about these characters, but you also need to have at least something that makes them seem like a real person. None of these people felt like real people. They felt like parodies of people. And it was annoying because it's like, I
don't agree with that. I could definitely see elements of myself in basically every character in that movie. Like there's decisions and things that they all make.
You can see
that are like, and that's what I think the point of it all is. It's not about having a rooting interest or feeling like this is a fully fleshed out character. They're representations. Like they're just like I said, they're like pawns. They have a purpose, but that purpose is just to simply be this one stereotype so that you see this funnel into this situation. Because it's about that. It's not about them.
And what I am saying is that makes for a bad movie.
I just don't agree. I think it's a really good movie.
Okay,
not only just a good movie. I think it's really, and there's so many people that agree with me, dude. So it's not like I'm alone in this world that thinks Midsommar is a good movie.
5 million people can have the opinion on something, and one person can have the other one. That doesn't make the 5 million people.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong for that opinion. I'm just simply saying it's not like this is a ludicrous idea that I think it's a good movie. That's all I'm saying. Obviously people besides myself see that in it. So I'm not just making up stuff like,
Yeah, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying.
Did you ever see Beau is Afraid?
No.
I'm really curious what your thoughts of that one are.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it eventually. I never got around to it.
As time's gone by, I think Beau is Afraid I would actually put above Midsommar. I think it's not Hereditary, but I don't think he'll ever make a movie on the level of Hereditary. Like, I just think that it's one of those like perfect situations where your cast, your writing, the visuals, like everything just aligned. Yeah, he could, I'm not saying he won't, but I'm just saying like that's that, lightning in a bottle kind of movie. But Beau is Afraid is so much less about the text and more about the subtext and like the meaning of it. It's a super complex movie that has like so many layers to it. But at the end of the day, what the whole point of it is it's a representation of what it feels like to be someone that has overwhelming anxiety. And like, I personally suffer from that big time. Like, I've taken medication most of my life for, almost like panic attack levels of anxiety and stuff at times. And it's like, I feel like it's as good of a movie of anything I've seen at being, of representing that in an allegory type of situation,
All right. Well, I want to get to some comments, but I think you should drink decaf.
Yeah,
coffee.
definitely.
That'll help with those panic attacks.
I can't drink coffee, man.
Oh, that sucks. All right.
Remember I told you I like had that.
I remember.
I had coffee.
I remember. I'm sorry. B-Movie Theater says Midsommar is a great example of why sometimes it's important to have an unlikable protagonist, because if the boyfriend was any more likable, it would have been a completely different movie. I agree.
Yep.
I agree. And that's fine. You can have an unlikable protagonist. That's fine. But just because you don't like that, like, so the Penguin, okay? If anybody's seen the Penguin is a fucking villain. He is a bad guy. You're not supposed to like him, but there are things about him, his love and obsession with his mother, his struggle to gain respect, his philosophy on, or not philosophy, but his tactics on how he gets out of situations. He's a quick thinker. He's a great bullshitter. These qualities of the Penguin still make you want to see what's going to happen with him, what he's going to do.
But that has a different purpose.
It
has a totally different purpose.
No,
the whole purpose of that is to let you know who the Penguin is.
Yes,
like,
but he's a bad person. He's an unlikable protagonist, but he's still a better written character than anybody in Midsommar. That's also
the central entire point of that series.
Okay. What is the point?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. That's not the point of Midsommar. It has nothing at all to do with the characters that are in it. The entire point of it.
So then why have characters?
To
make Midsommar with chairs.
Like I said, they're just they basically are.
No, they're not.
That's why. Yes, they are. That's why they're so two-dimensional, because
they're poorly written characters. That's why they're two-dimensional.
In this movement of showing you the destruction of people with their fatal flaws. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Okay.
We're going to argue about this all night.
The point of it.
I'm sorry. We're going to argue about it all night, man. Like, and that's fine.
I think the real point of it is everybody in it are these roles, and it just shows you different fatal flaws, like I said, of showing you that how, if you're weak-minded, if you're a weak individual, if you don't stand up for yourself, if you don't make strong decisions and have any character, you know what I mean? Like, if you do not live your life as this fully dimensional being, you get caught in this funnel that pulls you to your demise. Like, that's what I think the entire thing is showing.
Okay, well, that's, I mean,
because because they use a cult, like they use a cult as the weapon, and what is it? It's this group of one-minded individuals that have like no individual identity. You know what I mean? They're just this cult, and they just go along with the, you know what I mean? And at the end of the movie, that's exactly what she does. At the end of the movie, she just goes along to get along.
Yeah.
And that's what that entire movie is. It's all these people that are just going along to get along. So that's why I think it would actually be counterintuitive if you made the characters stand out in any way, because that goes against the entire like point of what this movie's trying to show.
So okay, I will respond to that, but I want to get through these. I want to try to get through these comments because I'm pretty far behind. Wolfbane says Midsummer's awesome. Leslie says I feel like Midsummer part of the experience is trying to like the characters and failing, and the guy with the book was specifically told. Yes, okay. I apparently he was told. So all right, I was wrong. I don't think he should have died over it, but I was wrong. Citizen Sleeve. My fiance does not really does not like Midsummer. Fuck it. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, DJ, if of any character in the movie, he is the only one that like completely goes against a deadly warning from them to not mess with this book. Do not take pictures of it. Do not like go in this room. This is a sacred room. You're not like, he is one of the few in the movie that kind of does, because the one guy gets killed because he pees on the tree without realizing that it's a sacred tree. Right. Like he's one of the few that does die going completely against like what he's told. So
okay. Steven says there is definitely a difference between a good movie and a fun movie. Yes, there is. Teresa says I love Midsummer. Very disturbing. Seja says she wasn't a selfish bitch. Her sister killed her parents, and her boyfriend was a cheating sleazebag who was not empathetic towards her at all. She had a reason to be sad and whiny. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I also think
I don't know how to address this.
That's meant to be her. Like I said, nobody is three-dimensional characters in it. Like her sadness controls her. Her like she has moments, plenty of moments. Like when he forgets her birthday. Like there are so many times in that movie when she could stand up for herself and be like, I deserve more. I deserve better. And she doesn't. She just goes along to get along and just shuts her mouth and lets him continue to be a piece of shit. Just like him. He could at any time have said, I love you. I care about you, but we're not working out. Like this is not, and stand up and at any point and be a man and be like, this is not working. And he doesn't. He just goes along to get along. It's like, that's kind of the thing with every character in it. That's why I feel like it's an allegory for your own destruction by just not being someone that has any like any sense of self,
Okay. So I'm just trying to get through these. Hereditary and Midsummer are brother and sister in horror cinema, the yin and yang of A24. They're must watch if you're a horror head, in my opinion. Okay. John Connor says Midsummer begins with a sucker punch with a murder suicide. Played Out says it's true that the final girl in Midsummer was deeply traumatized, but not likable. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm like,
I wouldn't consider her a final girl because she didn't survive because she fought back or overcame. Like I said, she just went along to get along, and that she does it all the way to the end.
B Movie Theater says if you have all likable characters in a horror movie, it sucks. I disagree because then you need to watch them die in Terrifier, for example.
I just think it's a totally different way of doing a movie because sometimes I've seen it and it works really well. Like a movie like The Thing, everybody's likable in that.
Yeah, everybody's likable.
It sucks because they all die. You're like, you don't want to see any.
Same with Alien. I thought everybody in Alien was really good. I mean, like it's B movie. Rethink that.
Yeah, it's just a different way of. It could be done in my opinion, it can be done in any way, shape, or form. You can have all unlikable characters or likable. It doesn't matter. It's about what you do with them, like how it's written, and the whole point of why they're likable or why they're not likable. Like I really liked the movie. I just saw it not too long ago where they're all meant to be these. Like it's making fun of this young generation X or Y or whatever, the younger generation. And it's like making fun of them and they're playing like caricatures of what it's like to be young in the world right now. And they're meant to be unlikable. And like when you see them get killed off and dying off, like
bodies.
Yeah. Like that's the point. Thank you. Yeah. Bodies. Like that's the point of that. You're not supposed to like a single person in that movie.
Anna Carey, we will get to your question in a second. I'm gonna star it so we can get to it. I just want to get through these Midsummer comments real quick. Same thing with you, Vorpal. Played Out says she found her new family. Okay.
Kind of.
Allison says it may just not be a movie for you. That's fine. It's still not immune from criticism. Whether it's made for me or not, it doesn't matter. It's still, that doesn't make it immune from criticism. So, I mean, whatever. I don't think.
Yeah, but I
Puss
think
in
a lot of
Boots-
your
I don't think.
criticism is
I don't
based
think.
on.
Well, I don't think Puss
on-
in Boots, the final, whatever that last Puss in Boots movie, I don't think that movie was made for me, but I think it's an incredible movie.
Oh, it's a super good movie.
I think it's an awesome film, but it wasn't made for me. So,
But
I
it's
can't
also
have that
kind of
opinion.
like it's kind of an age-old story in a lot of ways, and that's what makes it really good. It's one of those classic kind of adventure character you know what I mean, character story arc. You know what I mean? It's kind of got that classicalness to it, so it doesn't matter that it's animated. It's that, you know,
it's a great story.
Yeah.
Sage says he was eyeballing that redhead the entire movie before he was even drugged.
Well, yeah,
he
he's
was
not
fucking
into
with
her.
her.
He wants to break up with her. You find that out right away. Like when he's talking to his boys, they're like, "You've been talking about breaking up with her this whole semester." Like,
yeah,
he doesn't want to be with her. That's the point. So, like, he gets himself in that situation by not just being an individual and standing up and having any strong belief, or like, he just would rather be a slimy sleaze bag that just kind of goes with the flow. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Sorry. She happily made that decision because she finally belonged somewhere, and he was the last vestige of her old life. Yeah, just not a very satisfying payoff. She came in broken.
Yes, but it's also still, like I said, it's just her going along.
Yeah.
You know,
that was going to happen.
Knows that's what they want.
Was going to happen to her the entire movie. You're just like, okay, when is she going to be crowned May Queen? Because this is just where it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, she has no mind of her own. There's never any point in the movie, and like that's why she's meant to be in that cult like that, because she just would not. Maybe, yeah, she doesn't think for herself. She doesn't. She is nothing. She literally is just another face in that cult. Like everybody else in that cult, you just go along. Like, this is what we do. You know, we're 70 years old. We jump off this cliff and smash our faces. You know what I mean? Like, this is
that
what
scene
we
was
do.
Pretty gnarly. I'll admit that was pretty gnarly to see that.
That scene and the suicide scene were the like moments really, because even that ending scene was like, yeah, it's brutal, all burned in the fire or whatever, but it's like that the ones that get to you, you know, is that with their parents and family at the beginning, and then that elderly people scene. So
Allison says she came in broken. They broke her more, and she found family in the break because she lost everything. Okay. I don't know. I would rather, like, I think a better story is that she came in broken. I guess if she needs to be broken more, fine. But then she finally does find healing somewhere. But
I think then that's your traditional story.
Into her own. She stands up for herself. She makes a decision. She rescues maybe herself from the cult. But like you said, no, she doesn't. She just goes, well, I'm just going to do this now. This is now this is who I am, because.
And that's why I think that's the point of. That's why I think that's the point of the movie. Because like you're expecting her at some point to like be strong at any point. You're expecting her to fight back, to be strong, to make any decisions for herself. And she doesn't. She's pathetic. Like, that's the thing. Everybody in that movie is pathetic. That's why I agree with Leslie that part of it is that inner turmoil of like wanting to like someone and just not being able to, because there's no one that is really has any redeeming qualities in that movie.
Joe, I'm going to get to your question. Just give me a second. Allison says her boyfriend set himself up. Okay.
And, yeah, but her boyfriend still doesn't deserve to get burned in the bear.
He doesn't deserve to get raped either. He did not set himself up. This is the same. And again, I need to watch the movie again, but Kanan, tell me if this sounds like she deserved it for what she was wearing. He didn't know what he was eating and drinking.
Yeah.
He did not know.
No, and I think that's why I was saying, like, they all put themselves in this situation.
They all set themselves up.
But none of them exactly deserve it either. Well, no, they did. They all set themselves up in this situation, because they never at any point walked away when they were You know what I mean? Like there was plenty of, just like his relationship with her, he never just broke it off. He never had a backbone. He never made any decision in the entire movie to be strong, to have a mind of his own, to like fight back, any of it.
Right.
So like everybody in it is that, but at the same time, it's not like any of them deserve what they get. Like that's the point too. It's like,
okay,
you know what I mean? It's like it's like if you walk in front of traffic because you get right away, but you get hit by a car, well, you're still just as dead. You should have not walked out there. Even if you had the right of way, if you see a car plowing 70 miles an hour at you, regardless if you have right of way or not, you still probably should stop. And it's one of those kind of situations where you get what, you get what was coming, but it didn't mean you necessarily were in the wrong per se.
Yeah.
But you still walked out in traffic, even though you had you still walked out in front of a car going 70 miles an hour. It doesn't matter if you had a green light,
Yeah. Okay, guys, I want to move on because we've been talking about this for almost an hour. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your comment. I'll try to go through, but I starred some of these questions, but I want to move on to our next bit of news, because this is going to be a little bit more fun to talk about, I think. But thank you guys for commenting and for arguing with us. It's a lot of fun. So thank you. And we really appreciate it. You guys are really an awesome chat. So thank you. But we got to move on. So and this is like, while I'm getting the screen share, I want to fluff our chat even more. Like being able to talk to the chat and you and have these discussions, and disagreeing and whatnot, reminds me of when I used to do this with my friends at the hookah bar back in college. It's because, we wouldn't always have the same opinions, and we would spend hours smoking hookah and having discussions like this. And so this is why I do this. It fuels me.
It's not that fun of a conversation if you're all in exact agreement.
Right. Yeah. So thank you guys.
Like I find echo chambers to be very boring.
Yes, they are. Okay. Where am I? Oh my God. Okay, here we are. Sorry. So again, from Bloody Disgusting, Neill Blomkamp is directing a new Starship Troopers movie.
I'm super excited about this.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll explain why.
Okay, yeah.
I'll explain why. Paul Verhoeven's 1997 movie Starship Troopers pit a futuristic military unit up against insectoid creatures, with 2 live-action sequels, 2 animated movies, and various video games following in its wake. We've been hearing.
I do feel like the headline of this is wrong, and I'll explain.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. We've been hearing rumblings about a new movie for several years now, and Hollywood Reporter brings us an exciting update on that today. According to the site, Columbia Pictures has hired Neill Blomkamp to write and direct the new Starship Troopers movie, which will readapt Robert Heinlein's novel rather than outright remake Paul Verhoeven's movie.
Exactly.
Of course, Verhoeven's movie was also an adaptation of Heinlein's 1959 sci-fi novel. THR details Starship Troopers ostensibly told of an interstellar war between Earth and a host of bug-like aliens, and focused on a rise of a military serviceman named Johnny Rico. But the story had other things on its mind, like exploring the strengths of life in a military society and such ideas as having to perform service in order to have voting rights. Set in the 23rd century, Paul Verhoeven's movie starred Casper Van... all of this stuff. And then the trailer. So tell me, why do you think that the headline is weird?
Well, because everybody, including them, not that actual headline, but you know what I mean? Like, everybody's going around saying that this is a remake. Like, he's remaking it. He's not remaking it. He's not remaking the movie. This is his own interpretation and his own version of the same source material. So, like, it's going to be quite a bit different. Like, tonally, like, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be nearly as satirical, at least not in the way that version was. Like, this is going to be, I think, there's going to be more realism in it and a more sci-fi, less of the camp, less of the kind of silliness that the first one had. But either way, like, I think it's important to deviate or to delineate between the two. Like, there's a big difference between remaking a movie and making your own version of the source material. And he immediately has said in an interview that like he is making a movie from that source material. He's not at all remaking the original movie. And it's also not a sequel.
Well, good. I don't think he should remake the original movie. Exactly. Like we were saying earlier, I think he should make it his own.
Yeah.
So here's why I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I have not seen a lot of Neill Blomkamp films. I've obviously seen District 9. I've seen his hits or his I've seen District 9, I've seen Elysium, I've seen Chappie, and I've seen Demonic. And
well, there's only one other one, right? And it's that most recent one that was just garbage, but it was like a super low budget. Like,
he's got some TV series credits, and he's Bad President is a. Oh no, these are shorts. Never mind.
Yeah, his TV credits, I think, is just writing though.
Okay, well then yes, I've seen all of. Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize he had all these shorts. Of all four of those movies, District 9 is obviously the best, but it's the best by like a lot. I didn't think Chappie was very good.
Yeah.
I thought Demonic.
I think Elysium had potential. Like there's a
great
that
movie
held
in
it
Elysium.
back. Yeah, but I agree.
It's not there.
I mean, I think most people agree, but
so that's why when it comes
I still
to
think there's enough of a good movie there that like I'm not gonna. Okay, he's not like it's not like a Flanagan where I'm like, sign me up. I immediately know it's going to be great. Like the new Exorcist with Flanagan. He's not one of those guys where you're like, I don't even need to see a trailer. I know it's going to be good. You know what I mean? He's not one of those, but I think this is a perfect like setup for him. You know what I mean? Like for him, this gives him his best shot at making a good movie that I think he could get. Cause it's like, it's the perfect type of story. It's the perfect, because it has like social issues, which he works with, but it's super sci-fi, which he's big on. And his attention to the practical effects and what he's able to do with special effects. And like, he is really good at sci-fi visuals. So I think that there's a lot here that he could shit the bed, right? Especially because he's writing it too. But I think there's enough to be like, there's a good chance here. Like, I feel like it's a nice marriage. It has a good shot at being cool.
Yeah, it does. And that's why I said I'm cautiously optimistic. And when we get a trailer, we'll watch it and, see what it does. And then when the movie comes out, we'll talk about it. But I'm cautiously optimistic because I thought District 9 was great. So if he can tap into what made District 9 so good, I think he could have a really good movie. But it could also be
he's been working on a treatment for this for like 10 years is what I heard. Like,
well, that's good.
This has been something he's wanted to do for a long time. So this won't be a rushed thing either. So like the fact that they're picking it up tells me, because they've had a lot of different people write treatments over the years to bring back Starship Troopers. So I just think it's cool too, because when I saw that new movie, Mickey 17, my immediate reaction was I liked elements of it because they reminded me of Super Troopers, but it doesn't execute on the level of Super Troopers. But there's a lot of that kind of humor and that kind of feel about it that I did really like about Mickey 17. But it did just remind me and make me think, man, I wish they would make another Starship Troopers. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic like you about it.
I'm also still of the mindset that I would like to see original films. I don't think this movie needs to be done again. You know what I mean?
But it kind of isn't. That's why I was saying, I think it's important that he mentioned it, and that because it's just another version of that source material. So it's not like an IP, as in it's not a remake exactly. And it's not a sequel.
I
like
get
if he
it.
was doing if they were bringing, I don't know, like if it was attached to the IP in some way, I think I would feel less cautiously optimistic for it. I would feel more like, whatever. But I think the fact that it's like clearly being marketed from the beginning of like, it's just the same source material, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So yeah, we'll see. All right. So to the comments, Vorpal says, is the new Starship Troopers a remake or a sequel? It is neither. It's going to be,
which we've explained, I think, since he made that comment.
Yeah. Joe says, Demonic, I think was his last movie. Good luck. Yeah. I mean, like, Demonic was not good.
Did that. I thought he did that one sci-fi. Is that Demonic?
Yeah. Demonic was his last movie.
I saw the last movie he did, and it was not good, but a lot of it had to do with the budget. Like, it was a really lousy situation for that movie. Like, he did not have a good cast. Yeah,
join the army,
become a citizen.
Jazzman says, I'd rather have the old director in charge of Starship Trooper films. Someone else doing it makes me cautious. But we already got him.
But then we're just getting a remake, and and they made a number of remakes, so you can go ahead and watch those. There's an animated one and 2 live action ones. Like, there's nothing stopping you from watching those, but nobody watched them because they weren't good.
James says, I love how Heinlein's thought of a dystopian society included metal detectors in schools. Heinlein was a prophet in a lot of his books.
But that's what I mean by why I'm like kind of excited about at least the idea of that, because I feel like there's a lot more of that could be delved into now, and that I think Blomkamp will take it a little more serious, and like there'll still be satirical qualities about it, but it won't be as jokey as that original one.
Yeah. Vorpal says, Vorpal yells, Starship Troopers is power armor, no armor suits. It's not Starship Troopers. Okay, Vorpal. Thank you. Citizen Sleep says, I'm Citizen. How dare you? James says, if he follows the book, I'd like it better. Vorpal, again, it's all about the armor suits. Heather says, it'll be interesting without the camp.
Well, I don't think it'll be completely without camp, because even like if you look at his movies, they had camp in them. That's why I think Blomkamp has some. Yeah, but I think it'll be closer to that tone where it's not overly silly and campy, but there is definitely some in it.
There will be some comedic moments of levity, I think, and you need those.
But I think it'll be more of a tone thing instead of there won't be overtly funny elements. It'll be more of like a lot of people that don't get satire probably won't get it.
Yeah.
Like it always blows me away when people don't get satire and they take things totally straight. And I'm just like, there's obviously subtext there. Like it's, like it's not to be taken 100% serious.
Anarcary says it's not a remake. It's like old Dune versus new Dune. New Dune is based on the books, not the movie. Yeah.
Yep, it's exactly that. And that's why I feel like pretty different about it. That's a perfect comparison right there, because like they can both live in a world, like David Lynch's version of Dune is super different time period, like different tone, like it's just a different thing.
Allison says, hell, it'd be easy enough to make something based in that universe in general.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm hoping for. Like, if this is good, like there's more that could be done there without just being a Super Troopers. Cause like he has a whole world that was built out.
Help me with your name, buddy. Constancio. Help me out.
Yeah, I think it's G Constantio. It's like, because he's got the third, like its first name is something with a G, and then Constantino is his.
It's
Constancio.
Anyway, G33 says, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie, a more serious-minded Starship Troopers minus the camp.
Yep. Well, I mean, there is camp in the book. There is satire in the book. So I don't think it's going to be completely void of it.
There's going to be humor in it.
But I don't think it'll be as over the top as that original movie either.
Steven says, I want Starship Troopers made with some extra camp added in.
Then you go watch, what's that movie with, what's that sci-fi movie with, damn it. What's the name of that really silly movie, the Starship, what was that? Damn it. It's got Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver.
Oh my God. Yes.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, go watch Galaxy Quest because that's exactly what Galaxy Quest is. It's
so good.
It's basically Super Troopers, but like even more silly and funny. I love that movie.
So good.
Such an underrated comedy.
Cal Thulu says, "Sup, Canada and DJ, you rock, man. Love Canada, Wayne Stevens."
Sup. It was so funny, dude. Today, someone asked me what car I drove because I posted because I got pissed off at this stupid little,
Prius, your little Prius rant.
Prius, yeah. And I didn't rant. I just simply said, I know, because I swear to God, Prius drivers and Tesla drivers, but Prius more than almost any other car, they act like they're like this special, like look at me, I can drive however I want, not use blinkers, and almost kill a bunch of people. And it's like the most bizarre thing, the way Prius drivers drive. So I said something, but it was funny because someone asked me like what kind of car I drive, thinking like I'm a YouTuber. I probably have a nice car. I'm like, I drive my sister's car. My sister's Hyundai.
Leslie said, I saw a big Warhammer display at a con we serviced last weekend, and it was LMAO.
She texted me that.
Warhammer's awesome. What's up, Big Rod? Good to see you.
No, but she's referring to that whole conversation we had last week, remember? About them smelling.
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so she texted me when she saw it, and I started cracking up.
Citizen Sleep says, no problem with the new Starship Troopers movie. Film is glorious, but not the book, so go for it.
Ooh. And it's been a long time, too, which is also what, like, you know, when you're going to, like, do something with a source material or whatever like that, I feel like it bugs me when it's, like, 5 to 10 year area. But when you're talking about 20 to 30 years, it feels less like someone trying to go after an IP, if that makes sense. You know?
No, I agree. James says Troops is like the first RoboCop. Yeah. Wait. You mean the book? Because RoboCop came out before Super Troopers.
Yeah.
Or Starship Troopers. Sorry. John Connor says, forget Starship Troopers.
He must mean the book.
I think he's talking about the book because the book came out in 1957 or something. Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
John Connor says, forget Starship Troopers. They need to make a Gears of War. Dave Bautista is waiting. Yeah.
No, Dave Bautista is too old and slimmed down and becoming a more serious actor.
You don't think he can bulk up? He
won't. He could. He won't. No.
Why?
He's done a lot of interviews. He lost almost 100 pounds of muscle and everything. Like he wants to be like, he's old enough and it was starting to affect his health, like being big and everything. And he's just like, I want to be, an actor and like, and he's not wanting to be an actor. He's not taking action.
Yeah, but
roles.
He doesn't need to be jacked for it. Just, a little bit, just a little bit. Whatever.
I think that we just saw him in his last action type of movie, and that was this pile of garbage.
Oh my God!
Theaters right now, because like, dude, he's super thin. Like he doesn't dress the same. Like he is very much leaning into trying to be a respected actor now. Like that's very like big for him. He's taking a lot of like indie roles, like smaller artsy kind of movies, like and I love that because like he can actually act. Whereas like a lot of these big muscle guys like Cena and The Rock, it's like they only can be action stars. Although, I've seen some stuff with Cena that makes me think that he has potential to be a legit actor down the road as well. But like, there's got to be an evolution for these guys, and that's something like we didn't see with Arnold. Arnold never took the time to really act. And so all he ever is able to be is like an action guy. Whereas like Stallone took him more serious and at least tried. Like Stallone's never been, he did win an Academy Award, which is so funny, but he's not like, you don't think of Stallone as like an actor, like a real, but
I don't know. I think he does a good job.
At least took it more serious. That's what I'm saying. He did take it more serious. He's always tried to be a real actor. Like he's taking classes. He tries it. And that's what Bautista's doing. I'm not saying we'll never see him in a more badass type of role again, but I don't think, at least for a while, I think because he's like almost 60, dude. He's not like he's in his late 50s. It's not good for these guys. They're literally almost killing themselves. Like you hear these stories. Like, what's his name?
You could be in shape in your 60s. You're not going to kill
yourself. Not like what they expect now. Those guys are roided up. Like, to be the way they look, they're fucking
yeah,
on
you
roids.
don't get, but you can get naturally big enough to be in a Tears
not
movie.
that old. No, you can't. Not when you're in your 50s, not in your late 50s. There's no way.
Jazzman says,
have you ever heard what what's his name, Hugh Jackman did to play the last Wolverine?
No.
Like, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. The amount of
he has a personal
human
trainer
growth
and a private chef.
Yeah, like, but it's not that. It's the drugs they have to take. It's all the, like, literally they have to be roided out of their minds. And it, like, they can only do it for these tiny little windows because it'll fucking kill them. Like, it's super dangerous. And like, it's one thing when you're in your 20s and 30s, but these guys, you can't get like that.
I'm in my 30s. I can still roid up. I can still roid up.
You're in your 30s. But even then, you see a lot of these like wrestlers and stuff die in their 40s and 50s and stuff. It's because of that, dude. It's super hard on your heart and your brain. So Jasmine, I applaud him. I applaud him because, like, I think it's important for these people to, like, show younger guys, like, hey, there's another way. You don't have to just be this big muscle bound idiot. Like this is something I understand that you can't, like, but for me, I was always treated
Hang on,
like,
I can't what?
Let me finish. I was always treated like, we don't care about your mind, Kanan. We don't care if you're creative or whatever. All we care about is you're a big, strong guy. So that's the kind of job you're going to do. And that's what I was treated my entire life. And so it took me an entire lifetime and having to finally build my own channel to finally be able to do something where I get paid to be creative and use my brain instead of just construction or being the big guy moving shit around. And it's kind of the same. So I can relate to that in a Hollywood sense. It's like nobody respects these big guys as like being a real actor because they're like, oh, we're just a big action hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect someone like, well,
fine, good on him.
He turned down, in an interview I saw, he turned down $20 million to play, I forget what character it was, and instead lost like 100 pounds of muscle. Like, I respect the hell out of that.
Well, good for him. All right, Jazzman says, do you guys think do you guys think it'll be a new cast for Starship Troopers, or will they get be able to get most of the original cast?
No, it's all new.
It's gonna be all new.
We might get a cameo though, which would be kind of cool to see, like a cameo of Rico or something. Like, what if he played the old ball guy with the patch?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, there's definitely room for cameos, but yeah, I think that's all they're gonna do. They just says, "Oh my god, I'm gonna watch Galaxy Quest tonight. It's been a while. Always watch Galaxy Quest.
So fun.
It's says for the Emperor." Diddy says Prius drivers sound like BMW drivers. K.
No. There's a big difference. Like, a BMW driver drive like an asshole. Okay. There's a big difference. Like, they're a fucking egotistical asshole that just drives super fast and cuts you off and all this, and they're just a prick. But there's a difference. They don't act like they're like a fucking saint, like that God blessed them to drive this Prius and blesses them because they drive this Prius. And I'm better than everybody and I eat granola. There's a huge difference. Huge difference. Like, there's a difference between someone that drives like an asshole fast and someone that fucking pulls in front of you going 5 miles an hour without a blinker. Like, that's just a totally different attitude of person. And I'm like, yeah, you're driving a BMW, you're a prick, but dude, it is a badass BMW. I get driving a little reckless and fast or whatever. Like I said to someone, they were like, that's the new Tesla drivers. I'm like, well, yeah, but at least a Tesla is special. You know what I mean? There's at least something
unique. It's definitely unique.
Kind of special about a Tesla. Like, it's an all electric vehicle. It can drive itself. Like, you know what I mean? There's at least something a little. There's nothing special about a Prius.
Yeah, it's a hybrid. Easy E says, "Wow, really? They're doing Cujo? Yes, they are. We talked about it earlier in the show, so you can watch the playback and get our thoughts on that." Okay,
but I still don't know if it's still not like a totally official thing either. So it could.
Right.
I think they'll definitely make it, but as far as that article said, it wasn't that Darren Aronofsky is officially signed on to do it yet. So it's still in the pre-production rumor stages.
I want to get to these two questions that I starred, and then I want you to.
You got to get to our last story.
Did I not?
That's like the biggest story.
Did I not pull up our last story? What's our last story?
The Saw. That's like the. Biggest.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Sorry. Let me. I completely forgot to pull it up. Hold please. Boop, doop, doo, doo, doop, doo, doo.
Where are we at on the comments?
That's my hold music. I don't know because I'm looking at this. The comments are just talking about Dave Dunn being big, says it's affecting his health. Same stuff you said you were in. Diddy said Arnie was okay. Zombie movie with his daughter turned into a zombie. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Meg, or no. What is it? It's something with an M. Is it Meg? No. Is it May?
I don't know. Okay, I got the
it's
article.
Pretty good. And I mean, he does show. I'm not saying Arnold can't act at all, but like the guy is like all he has now is like, you know what I mean? It still isn't like a great actor. And he's been in movies
he's never been
like
a great
majority of his life.
He's good enough.
Yeah. Like he shows some emotion in that movie. I agree. It's not a bad movie.
Vorpal says Maggie. Thank you.
Maggie, thank you. Yeah.
your caps lock is broken, Vorpal. Okay. Let me pull this up. Okay. So from, again, Bloody Disgusting, the only source that we have, says,
well, the other site really like it is Dead Central.
Dead Central, yeah, I know.
It's a lot of the same stories, but I think Bloody Disgusting has more people I'm friends with that write for them and more credible writers, in my opinion.
Saw series shocker. Is it game over for Saw 11? 7 installments, a soft reboot, a spinoff, and in-between-quel. After 2 decades, 10 films, and over $1 billion grossed worldwide, Saw remains one of horror's most popular and enduring franchises. Unfortunately, the series' iconic villain Jigsaw may have already set his last trap. According to an anonymous source, Bloody Disgusting is verified as being close to the production of its newest sequel. It's totally dead, the source tells us. It's 100% over, almost a year now. Yeah. From Saw's official X account, I think, it says the game continues 9/27/24, but this is
that's a screen grab from last year, like almost a year ago.
Yeah. After the commercial and critical success of the 2023 Saw, that was in 2023. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lionsgate announced Saw 11 with a teaser image and a September 27th, 24 release date. Not long after, Saw 10 director and franchise veteran Kevin Grutert, oh God, I hate this last name. Kevin Grutert.
Yeah. Yep.
Was revealed as the upcoming sequel's director, with previous series scribes Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan on scripting duties. In addition, Saw stars Tobin Bell, Shawnee Smith, and Costas Mandalore were to return to their roles for this outing. However, the release date was eventually pushed back by a year, the spring of 24, placing its new release date at September 26, 25. So what happened? According to the source, everything went sideways in January of 24. The producers started fighting. While one producer attempted to plow forward with the film, the other put up roadblocks, stifling Saw 11's production. But what about Lionsgate? Surely the company that Saw helped build would have stepped in to steer its lucrative ship back on course. Our source suggests that Lionsgate didn't have anyone to smooth over the disagreement. As it stands, the series still has a number of dangling plot strands left to be tied up, with Saw 11 effectively canceled. So, too, is the franchise, robbing its fans and creators of a proper ending. I don't know about that. What becomes of the series after this? The insider notes that the franchise might sell somewhere else, but it will likely start over if so. In the end, Jigsaw was thwarted not by cancer or a circular saw to the throat, but a persistent plague In the end, Jigsaw was thwarted not by cancer or a circular saw to the throat, but a persistent plague to creativity and filmmaking, as the source concludes. Greed and ego won. Sound off in the comments below. Okay, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, that's not exactly what the way they ended that, I push back on. Like, from everything I've heard, and I've heard from a lot of sources on this one, it was basically 2 guys own the rights. Okay. And one guy is like, dude, this movie was super successful. Let's just plow ahead and make another one right away, like we did years ago, like we have for a long time. Like, make money right away and like continue what's going on. The other one's like, it's time to reset this. Like, let's go and start over. Like, let's reboot this, or you know what I mean? Like, you can't just make sequels forever, because what it really comes down to is, what's his name plays Jigsaw? My brain just
Tobin Bell.
Tobin Bell is very, very up there in age. And
He's
so,
old.
like, to completely hang your franchise on this guy when he could, unfortunately, I mean, he could pass away at any time or just not be able to act anymore. I mean, you get to a point where he just may not be able to play this character anymore. So to make another one, you have to bring him back.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you reset it all, you can cast new people. You can take your time. You're not in a big rush to make a movie. So, like, I can see it from both points of view. And of course, most of the fans are going to be like, dude, bring Tobin Bell back. We want to see him again. But it's like, there's got to be a point where you say, we can't bring Tobin back anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be an end point. Do you want to wait until he dies halfway through production of a movie or something? You know what I mean? Like, that's a tough decision.
I personally think the franchise should have ended after 3.
Exactly. And then there's another.
The fact that there's 10.
I thought 10 was fantastic. I think 10 is the best since, like, maybe the second or third movie. Like,
I thought it was good. I thought it was good
better
enough.
than the majority of the sequels.
Yes.
Let's just put it that way.
Yes. But that's not saying a lot.
I think it actually kind of is a nice fitting end for Tobin Bell. You know, like, he literally walks off in the sunset. Like, at the end of the movie, he walks hand in hand out the door. Like, you have cameos from everybody that was important in the franchise. Like, I think it's a pretty good way to end, even though we didn't think it was the ending. We thought they would make another one. Like, I think in years from now, we'll look back and think it was a pretty nice way to send Tobin Bell off. You know what I mean? Imagine if we had that with Tony Todd for Candyman.
Yeah,
we would have been like, you know, so I mean, unfortunately, or Freddy Krueger, like, if we had seen, you know, like that, there's a point where these guys, they just get, you know, everybody has an expiration date.
Yeah.
And fans never want to accept that. So I get it from that. But then also on top of that, there's another option. And it's, I guess, Jason Blum is throwing like crazy numbers at them to sell to Blumhouse. And so there's a chance, especially since they can't agree, that they might be selling it to Blumhouse.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Part of why this news is coming out and why there's been leaks is because they kind of want it to be a little bit known by fans and people, and to kind of hear the buzz and kind of maybe help them make a decision, you know, like how loud is the buzz and what does it seem like people are wanting, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it also could be helping to drive up the price to Blumhouse too. So
yeah, maybe.
Either way, I don't think there's any chance we're going to end in 11 because of the fact, even if you were to settle this within the next 6 months, you're talking at least another year on top of that before they could have another movie. And like I said, Tobin Bell is
gonna
very up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't been making stuff. It's not like he's acting every day in movies. Like, you know, like, what is he, 80?
Yeah, at least. I'll get to the comments while you're looking that up. Wolfbane says, saw Ayatit. I don't know what that means.
He's 82, man. How are you going to put a
82,
franchise on the back of an 82-year-old?
Yeah, you shouldn't. Aaron Carey says, breaks my R.I.P. John Amanda Hoffman.
Heart, yeah.
Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Rest in peace, John Amanda Hoffman. Yes.
Yeah.
Matt, let Saw die. Aaron Carey, at least Saw 10 was a high note.
Yeah. Saw won't die. Like, let's finish out what I was saying. Like, Saw won't die. Like, it will be back. It's too much of a moneymaker.
It's just not going to be.
It just won't be back with Tobin Bell. Yeah.
Yeah. Wolfbane says, Saw, say it ain't so. Saw 11, the smorgasbord, says Vorpal. Yes.
I think we'll just see like a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years go by, and they'll either reboot it with Lionsgate or sell it. I think they'll probably sell it. And I honestly would be surprised if it's not Blumhouse that buys it.
Heather Saunders.
Because Blumhouse threw $350 million for Exorcist.
Yeah.
400. You know, like I could see them throwing 150, 200 million for Saw.
Yeah. Heather says, I'm surprised they did 10 in the first place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Citizen Sleeve says, time for Tobin to chill. Diddy says, the writers and producers fought and had no idea Tobin would even do it. James
that's
says,
the other thing. That's the other thing, because they didn't even know if they'd be able to get Tobin back.
Right.
Because until I guess there was some things where they were talking to him and they were moving forward with making a new movie, and they still hadn't signed him on. And so then they were left with okay, well, what if he decides to not come back? Kind of like a Aaron Rodgers situation. Then what do we do? The whole plan with 10 was to continue on where, with 11 was continue on with what 10 was doing. But it's then if you don't get, then you have nothing. So
James says, in all the Saws, when Jigsaw says, I want to play a game, did anyone you ever just simply say, no, it's okay?
Nah, I'm good.
No, because they're probably already chained to something.
Yeah, that's the thing with Tobin. He never took accountability for anything he did, and he never gave anyone a choice.
Yeah. Vorpal says, Saws becomes just terrible. It's been beat to death. Yeah. Jasmine says, oh, no, not Saw 11.
I don't agree with that, because 10 was really good. I think they could have made an 11 because Grutter knows what people want from a Saw movie.
10 was good by comparison. It's a okay movie on its own. It's okay. There's nothing.
I think it was more than okay, but I wouldn't say it's it is still a sequel, so it's it's not an original but it was good enough. I think you could have made an 11 and it would have been another good movie, not an amazing movie, not a groundbreaking movie. The only way to do that would be to completely restart Saw. That's the only way you have any chance of possibly making another great movie, because you have to do something totally different. And they tried that with Spiral, and that was fucking crap.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I agree with Vorpal in a sense that I already said I think Saw should have ended after 3. It should have ended after 3. The fact that they
but it's the exact same thing as
we're
Friday
going to
the
keep
13th.
milking this, and they're all bad.
It's literally it is Friday the 13th. You just get on this roll of making one every year, and people will come out and support it every year.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing. Yeah. And eventually you run out of ideas and you just have to stop. And it's the same thing with Friday the 13th. They need to fucking reboot it. And which is why a series is great, because hopefully the series is good. It's A24. I think the Friday the 13th series has a good chance at being good. And I feel like that's the exact same thing that has to happen to Saw. You either don't do them ever again or have a hard reset.
We now have
a whole new bunch of voices, actors, everybody. You know what I mean?
Wait, I got it. For 5 seconds there, we had more people on the Death Rattle side than the Ghost Pirate side. Now we do. We got it again.
60.
We got
over 60 total. For
61
for
total. So thank you guys. But we are at 31 on Death Rattle, 29 on Ghost Pirate. If you're on Ghost Pirate,
do you
come
see
over
that?
to Death Rattle. It's at the top left corner. That? If you hover your mouse over the eye icon, you can see where we're streaming.
Shows the separate. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We got one from this Screaming Room. Oh, is that the Twitch?
It's the Twitch one. It's updated to Death Rattle, but it still says Screaming Room on here for some reason.
Yeah.
And we all know who that is. Jasmine says,
"Oh, 67, bro.
Let's get to 80. Can we get 80?
Yeah.
One day we're gonna break 100, and it's gonna be awesome." Jasmine says, "Oh no, not Saw 11. If it happens, oh well. Love Tobin Bell. He's amazing in horror films. Would love to see him do cosmic horror films, but he's up in age and deserves a break if he decides to retire." Yeah,
dude, he's beyond up in age.
Yeah, he is.
The vast majority of actors are long done by 82. Besides him, the only other one I can really think of is Clint Eastwood. That's still regularly did stuff. I think Clint Eastwood's kind of done now. I think he did was going to be his last directing thing.
Nightingale says 10 Saw movies is enough.
Yeah.
Cal Thulu
There'll
says
be more.
They just need
to not be sequels.
It says they need to do one where it's basically an origin story when he's in his late teens to bring the young crowd in and dark enough to keep us big kids in. I don't know, because he never became Jigsaw until he was diagnosed.
Yeah, so I wouldn't do. Different. Well, yeah, but you could show that he is a psychopath, even because that's the thing about him, right?
But I don't think he is.
He always acts like he's not a psychopath, but you don't do that stuff if you're not.
Well, he is a psycho, but he was a totally normal person until he got the diagnosis, and he flipped. he was the Joker. He had a
mind.
bad day and he just snapped. So
yeah, but in his mind and what we are told. But I'm saying you could, if you did do a younger version, like they did with Dexter, you could show that he was always a psychopath. He just didn't see himself that way.
I don't like that. I like it better that he.
I know, I agree. I'm
I
just saying you could do.
Way better.
I would rather see an origin story, but like from the time he met his wife, and you introduce us to a new Jigsaw. Like it's the same character, but a different actor because he's a young version. Instead of doing that backwards baseball.
Oh my
hat,
God.
You could actually have a younger guy playing, the role and show us their love story and what breaks them. And you know what I mean? You could do that. You could do a series. I think a series could be really cool.
Joe says should do a new Chainsaw getting revenge on the gangsters that robbed the movie. What? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I don't know what that. I don't.
Citizen Sleep. Let me get through these real quick because I want you to do your reviews because I gotta go AFK for a minute before we come back. But I want to burn through these real quick because we also have these two questions that I started that I want to get back to. Citizen Sleep says it has, but Saw 10 rocked. Time to stop a reboot. B movie theater. They need a requel, but they've been releasing new movies every couple of years. Citizen Tony Todd is much missed. Yes, he is. Wolfbane, Tobin Bell is my man, but he's in his 80s. Diddy says, looking forward to Nightmare. Okay, that's not about... Sage says people need to let Toby retire.
Hold on, what was that last one?
Well, it's not about Saw. That's why I didn't read it. Looking forward to Nightmare on Elm Street this year.
There is no Nightmare on Elm Street this year.
Yeah, there is none.
People need to quit believing these bullshit posts on Facebook, dude. There is no Nightmare on Elm Street this year. None. Yeah. There is no in the foreseeable future.
I had a guy come up to me 3 years ago at a party when he learned that I make horror movies. He was like, they're making a new Nightmare and it's gonna have Robert in it. And I'm like, really? Because I hadn't heard it except for the Facebook post. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm from LA, so they talk about that stuff. And I'm like, okay, man. I'm from LA.
Talking about that. Dude,
I have insider
talking about making a Nightmare on Elm Street for a long time because they know it could make money. But it all comes down to the same thing as Friday the 13th. There is these people that want to make a ton of money, and the guys that have the money look at it and go, you want that much money? We might be able to make X amount of money. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's like you have these older franchises and they're like, yeah, we could make $100 million on the movie. So you need to pay us X amount of dollars. And it's like, the studios are like, once we pay for your rights, then we pay for, you know what I mean? We end up in a Blumhouse situation with Exorcist,
right? Where
like that first one made 100 and something million. And it wasn't even a drop in the bucket on how much money they spent on that franchise.
Yeah. G33 says, make bank on the same crap or reset. If you must, personally, I'm with DJ. How about just do something new and creative? Kanan got my name.
But they are. They're making new stuff every year, all year. Like there's new movies constantly, like brand new ideas. Like I just saw Ash. It's a totally brand new horror movie. And I saw Opus, brand new horror movie.
I gotta watch Opus. I thought I was gonna have time today, and
I don't think you'll like Opus. I'm still very mixed on.
Well, we can still talk about it. I'll watch Ash too, but Citizen Sleep. Sorry, I got like 3 more chats left, and then I gotta go AFK so you can talk about both of those. Citizen Sleep says Blumhouse doesn't give a flying fuck about Tobin Bell. They care about money. They care about money. Done. Saw will continue. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah,
we know that.
But even if you care about Tobin Bell, like you got to be real as well. Like we don't even know if he would want to do it,
right?
And I don't know if he can do it. Like when they shot that last Saw film is now getting close to 4 years ago. Guy's 82 now. He was 78 then. When you get to that age, every year it's a pretty big decline. So like he may not even physically be able to do that. Like it's one thing to have a cameo. Like whenever we see him acting and stuff now, it's like very small little roles and stuff. It's another thing to be like a lead character, and that's what they would be expecting from him. Otherwise, why even? You know what I mean? Like if you're going to do another 11 and have him in it, he's the main guy again, like he was in Saw 10.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys, I can't finish out on these comments. Kanan is going to give his review on
Where are you at?
Ash. Where am I at? I'm
can follow them.
Okay, well, I'm scrolling up to the last one I read was so Saw 11 isn't coming out in September as planned, or is the franchise going on an indefinite hiatus after that? Well, we don't know. We don't think anything's happening. So this is the last one. So the next one is
there is no Saw 11.
The next one is Anarcharies. So if you want to read that and go, you can. But I gotta go AFK. I will be right back.
All right, guys. I'm trying to get to where. All right. There we go. No one ever said no Saw, but Samuel L. Jackson said, "You want to play games, motherfucker? I'll play." Samuel Jackson got split into 1,000 pieces. What are you talking about? Except for when he said, "No motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane." So I don't know what you're talking about, because when Samuel L. Jackson was in Spiral, he got split up in a million pieces. He didn't do shit. What are you talking about? Yeah, Diddy Jigsaw was okay. I personally think it was one of the weaker sequels, but I didn't hate it. Like, I really, really disliked Spiral, but that's the only Saw universe movie that I really disliked. I loved 10. I thought 10 was great. So, see, wasn't Spiral a part of the Saw franchise? Yeah, it was like a spin-off. It was in the same universe. It just didn't have Jigsaw, or any of the characters we were used to. I didn't like it. It wasn't that they were different. It wasn't that it was a spin-off. That's not what I disliked about it. I couldn't take Chris Rock serious, or not Chris Rock. Damn it. Hold on. Is it Chris Rock? Who's the guy that played the lead in Spiral? Is it Chris Rock? Anyway, I couldn't take him seriously at all. Like, and the writing was really bad. I didn't think Spiral was good. And like, who ends up being the killer at the end? Like, it just didn't feel like a Saw movie, and it wasn't even a good movie. Anna Carey says Saw X was more than okay. It was easily the best outside of the original. Yeah, I personally think it was right there with 2 and 3. Like, it was right there. It was very, very good, in my opinion. I think it's more than okay. Let's see. Stephen Nick says, a movie I'm surprised hasn't been remade is From Beyond. A lot could be done with that story. I agree. I want more Lovecraftian, more just, otherworldly cosmic horror movies in general. And I don't know why we don't get more of them. It's just like the Under the Ocean. Like, there's so many horror movies that could be made with that Lovecraftian cosmic horror, eldritch horror, type of, like, from beyond our understanding and stuff. I don't understand why we don't see more done in that. It just never makes sense to me. Joe Begrit says thumbs down for Spiral. Diddy says A Nightmare on Elm Street should have ended at number 3 too. I'm fine with making sequels, even if they're not good. I don't care how many sequels are made. Like, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. Like, I don't think it matters. I think you can continue to make sequels that are good, but you just can't rush them out. You got to take your time. Because, like, I feel like Evil Dead has multiple, like, quite a few sequels, and they've all been good. Scream, the same thing. Like, they've all been good. They haven't all been amazing, but they've all been good. I just feel like you got to take your time, get the right cast, put the right amount of money, behind them, get a good writer. But I mean, like, there's lots of original horror movies that are made too. That's why it drives me crazy when people say, all Hollywood, all that, not Hollywood, but all that they're making is sequels and remakes and all that. And it's like, no, that's not the case. There is tons and tons every year of original, especially in the horror genre. And like, if you think that they're making nothing but sequels, then you're not paying attention to the Ghost Pirate channel and all the movies I talk about. Because I talk about every list, a number of original horror movies that are not, I don't even talk about sequels. Like I almost never, like you guys might not even realize this, but I almost never in my 10 recommendation weekly videos, never talk about sequels. Like I just don't. Like I every now and then there'll be a sequel like Saw 10 that I'll mention. But for the most part, I only talk about, original movies. It's the Wolfbane. I don't know what the symbol is. It didn't something. I don't know, man. I don't know what you wrote there. Cthulhu says, I met Kane Hodder on Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan. Nice. He hung out with us for a few hours on set in Mumbai, British Columbia. Nice. That's awesome. I've heard he's a really, really cool guy. And he's back.
I'm back. All right. How far did you get?
Yeah. So can you continue with the...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Comments? Okay. I didn't talk about the movies. I talked a little bit earlier about... Hold on. I still can't hear you. My stupid headphones.
You can't hear me? Hello?
There you are. There you are. I can hear you.
Okay.
It wasn't you. It was my headphones weren't connected.
Seja says, I have mixed feelings about Sax X. Saw X. I felt like the story was rushed, but that's just me. Yeah, no, it was, Seja. Citizen says, I'm on Death Rattle, damn it. Thank you, Citizen. Stay there. James says, B-Movie Theater, I want to play a game, motherfucker. Wolfbane says, DJ, it didn't end after 3 because money. Yeah, I know. But that's when it should have. I
just don't agree. I don't think it matters. Like if people go and see him and they're entertained, like why not keep making them? Like at least the Saws were all fun. Like I remember going to Halloween every year on Halloween, and it was still a fun movie to go see. Like they weren't horrible movies. They were still entertaining and fun to see. They just weren't great movies. But that's fine. Like every movie doesn't have to be great. What's the point of making a movie? It's to entertain.
Yes, that is true. But from a storytelling, from a story perspective, it should have ended after 3. That's what it is.
But they didn't. Like, if anything, the stories got more complex and wild after 3.
Right. But
the story I don't know. It's one of those things like I put, and I see them different as that I would like the superhero stuff with Disney, where they're just putting slop out and spending crazy amounts of money to do it. Like Saw movies, just like the Friday the 13th movies, I don't put them in that same category because they're not spending a ton of money on them. Like these are just smaller. They're entertaining. They're fun. They are what they are. They're not like crazy cash grabs. You know what I mean? Like they're not the same.
I get it. S. Carson says if there were horror series, then I would want. Sorry, Carson. I'm trying to translate. If there were horror series, then I would want Sam from Trick or Treat. Yeah, that'd be good. I love Trick or Treat.
I just want a sequel. Like,
yeah,
that's one that needs a sequel. Like, there's no reason to not do another sequel because it's basically an anthology.
Yeah.
It's supposedly he's been working on one. He's updated every now and then. I guess he's got a script done for a sequel now.
Well, good, because it's been over 10 years. So,
and he has high hopes.
Come on, let's get it out.
He hasn't done anything in a while. Yeah. And like, I don't get that. It feels like someone that has just so many good ideas. Like even Krampus was really good and entertaining for what it was. So
he says someone actually needs to make a good Jeepers Creepers instead of these dumpster fires.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, at least with Saw, they didn't come out with a pile of crap money grab like Jeepers Creepers Reborn, like where they put no money into it at all, just used the franchise name, made an absolutely abysmal piece of garbage that is basically the same story, the same movie with just a tiny bit of like other junk. It was fucking awful and made a bunch of money off of people. Like that's a totally different thing. Like you make a sequel that's still entertaining and gives you what you want, like Final Destination, then it's not a cash grab. You're still entertaining people. Like people keep coming back because it's still giving them what they want. You know, with like Saw, it's the traps. With Final Destination, it's the weird, you know, setup kills.
I think what makes a movie a cash grab is there's another word that usually comes before cash grab, and that's shameless.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're making a movie, you want it to make money. You're going to make a movie that you think is going to make money. So it's so whether or not it's a cash grab, it's like, is it a shameless cash grab? You can make these movies, but if you're just making bad movies to make bad movies, that's a shameless cash grab. Like, so what they've been doing with Jurassic Park, these are shameless cash grabs. So I don't think that's exactly, I don't think just because a movie's bad, it's a cash grab.
They're taking away the entire soul of what Jurassic Park was and is, and just dumbing it down and making it more and more family friendly, so to speak, so they can make more and more money. It's what I call Disneyfying stuff, where they just polish it like to where there's nothing of any possible edge to it anymore at all. It's what Blumhouse has been doing with their PG-13 shit horror movies.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, let's make something that we can get every 13-year-old to go and see. Not going to make a good movie. The entire point of it is to just make as much money as we can, but not any sense of actually making something original or a piece of art. And we're going to get the talent that, you know, like the guy that made Night Swim, and not give him any resources or any time so that he could make an actually decent movie, because all we care about is getting it done as fast as possible with, you know, so that with the biggest appeal as possible, so we can just make money from it. We have no plans on anything else beyond that. We don't care about anything about it. We don't care if anybody likes the movie as long as we make money. Like, that's a shameless cash grab.
Right.
That's why I've been so angry at Blumhouse, because I'm all for like A24 making more action-friendly movies, or like, you know what I mean, comedies, like branching out and doing these other things so they can make more money. I'm all for that, as long as you still are getting real talent and giving that talent a chance to make the best movie they can within reason. Like, then it's, you know, to me, that's not even a cash grab. You're just making, you know, you're trying to make stuff that can be self-sustained, because it's just like with my channel. I need people to like it. Plain and simple. Like, I'm trying to make stuff that I like and can be creative with and everything. But at the same time, if people aren't watching the videos, it's not helping anybody. It's not helping me. It's not helping them.
Yeah.
So.
All right. We got a lot of comments, but people are talking to each other, so that's good. We're just a lot. Chat's active. They've always been active, so we can't read them all, or we're gonna just get behind.
Yeah, just skim.
So let's go to these questions that have been asked like over an hour ago. Anna Carey asked, if you got to get one or the other, if you had to get one or the other, would you prefer Damien Leone's Jason or Mike Flanagan's Freddy?
Anything Mike Flanagan does.
Yeah. So that's just right off the bat, Flanagan's Freddy. So
yeah. I don't know if I would like pick Flanagan to do Nightmare on Elm Street per se, but I feel like if Flanagan wanted to do it, that meant that he had a good enough idea at it. And his track record at this point tells me that anything he wants to do, I want to see.
Yeah. So I'm same agree 100%.
But I also think Damien Leone would make a plenty fun Friday the 13th movie. I think it would be fun, you know? So like, I'm not saying it'd be bad, but it's just, I would never, ever put Flanagan and Leone in the same. That's just not fair. It's not fair to Leone. It's just not like Flanagan, and it's not fair to Flanagan, because Flanagan is like one of the most, like,
he's the new master of horror.
He is, and he makes a lot of stuff. He's involved in a lot of stuff, and almost everything he's been involved in has at least been good, if not great.
Yeah. Joe says, ever recommended Bite? Nobody ever talks about it much. I don't think I've seen it. From 2015.
Are you talking about Little Bite? Oh no,
Bite from 2015. Chad Archibald.
I feel
What
like
is
I heard it was not a very good movie.
While on her bachelorette party getaway, Casey, the bride-to-be, gets a seemingly harmless bite from an unknown insect. After the trip,
Oh, maybe I
Casey
haven't
discovers that everything can change with a single bite. Okay.
Huh.
I have not seen this.
Yeah.
Looks pretty
I
cool,
think
though.
I was thinking of, there's a new movie called Little Bite that a lot of people keep wanting me to watch, and I've heard it's good. It's on Shudder, but I haven't seen it yet.
B Movie Theater, what's your top 5 horror movies of the year so far? Well, we haven't gotten 5 movies so far.
Top 5?
We haven't gotten 5 horror movies yet.
Yeah, we have. You just don't watch enough
okay.
movies.
Yes.
I would put...
You know what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to put them in any order, but I would put The Damned, Hard Eyes, The Rule of Ginny Pin, Ash, and I would say Companion, but I don't know if it's full on horror.
It's not. I don't know why people are saying
I'll say The Monkey.
Horror. It's not.
It's horror.
Companion
It's got horror
horror
in it.
But it's not a horror
loosely
movie.
under the umbrella.
I don't think it is. I think it's a soft sci-fi thriller. I don't think it's a horror movie.
Well, and that's why I said I guess I'll go with The Monkey.
I
feel like Grafted possibly in there. I feel like we have four strong ones so far that are horror and really good, but I don't really know if I would say we have 5. You know, there's been a number of really good ones that are like loosely horror, like Companion, Novocaine. Like they're not exactly horror, but they're like close. They're like, you know, fringe-ish. Like Presence is another one that's just fringe-ish. It's good, but it's more of a drama.
Right. James, no, murders do not make it horror.
But dude, Ash is fucking good. Like Ash is really cool. Like
Opus,
I still can't decide. Like Opus, it definitely goes horror in the final act. So I think you could say it's a horror movie, you know, and it is A24. It's just the most cringy movie. And I think it's intentionally meant to be that way. Yeah, Grafted does go super gross. It's fun. I really like Grafted. But dude, like Opus it's like this old rock star, and like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like, it's meant to be this, it's meant to be like uncomfortably funny, like a cringy, weird kind of humor to it where, you know, they know that they're making fun of themselves and that you're not supposed to be taking this serious. It's like, it's satirical, but like almost like not like a satirical, like it's really weird, man. Like I can't tell if the filmmaker thinks he's smarter than the room or wants to almost pretend that he thinks he's smarter than the room, but he is actually well aware that he is not. And so it's kind of making fun of itself in this weird, like, what's the thing where the snake eating its own tail? What's that called?
I don't know off the top of my head.
But it's such a strange movie because like for so much of the movie, you're like, there's no way I'm supposed to be taking this serious. Like it's just so dumb. But in like I think it's making fun of itself. Like it's making fun of itself as in Hollywood. Like it's making fun of these people that, yeah. And like, I think that's what it's doing, but it makes you feel so uncomfortable. And so I think it's successful at what it's trying to do, even though I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it was saying. Like, I feel like it was trying to say something. I think on the surface, it's making fun of all these pretentious fucks in Hollywood and in any elite circle that jerk each other off. You know what I mean? That all think that they're like the most educated and like, you know what I mean? They have this, like, do you remember, you saw The Menu, right?
Yes.
Like kind of the way the people the diners were
The one guy in the menu,
that.
where he's talking about, I know what you're talking
Where
about.
He thinks he's so sophisticated palate, and you're just looking at him, you're like, you're just a fucking douche. You know what I mean? Like, and so the movie is like, basically picture a whole group of people that are invited to go to this commune, and they're all kind of like that. There's and they're all like media. One of them is an influencer, but they're all like different people in the industry. They're going to this commune to hear this famous musician who has basically disappeared for like the last 20 years. He was like the biggest pop star in the world kind of thing. And then he just vanished. Didn't do any interviews, didn't make any music, just vanished basically for like the last 20 years. And all of a sudden resurfaces and it's like, I have a new album and I want all these people I'm going to invite personally, like the biggest guy that's in charge of the biggest magazine, the biggest influencer, the biggest this and that. I'm going to invite you guys to my commune and I'm going to do a private concert for you guys. And you'll be the first ones to hear my latest album. And so they go to this commune and they realize like it's basically a cult. Like there's all these people that they basically worship this rock star as like their leader sort of thing. And they believe this really weird belief, and it's explained. But like the whole thing is in this weird tone where you have these people that are all like the guy from the menu, right? And you're like, you guys are ridiculous. Like you're all written to be over the top, like just so cringy because you're like, you guys are full of yourselves. You think you're so cool and so whatever, and you're just dumb and annoying and like, you know what I mean? But then also the cult people are that way in a way too. And this rock star guy thinks he is like the most amazing thing in the world. Like he thinks he's like a god, but he's super old and cringy. And you're like, dude, you're not cool. You're not sexy. You can't really sing. Like you're just uncomfortable to watch. And so the whole movie's like that in a way. And like, so kind of by the end, it's like, there's the one person you like. So at least on like Midsommar, there is one character that you are rooting for, and she's like the only sane person. So it's like everyone around her is just nuts. They're either so full of themselves, they think they're God's gift to whatever industry or whatever it is they do. Like they treat everybody like shit, you know, or they're just batshit. Like all the cult members are just batshit. And she's like the only one who can kind of see things for what they are. And so you're like rooting for her. And so her character is what makes me feel like the movie is well aware of what it's trying to do with these people. Like that they're all supposed to be just ridiculous, because she's not. She's like the only thing in the movie it makes you feel sane and normal. You're like, yeah, she's just, you know, and the whole time she's kind of questioning everything, and everybody around her is just like, why are you freaking out? Like, just have a drink. You know what I mean? And she's like, we're surrounded by like a cult, guys. And everybody's like, you're just uptight. Like, here, do some drugs. You know what I mean? So
Ralph and B Movie Theater don't know what movie you're talking about.
Opus.
Yeah.
It's a brand new one that's in theaters right now. It just came out last weekend.
Well, anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here? Because we've been on for 2 hours.
Ash.
I gotta go to bed. Ash? Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it either. You want to talk about
like
Ash?
Of the two, Ash is definitely the one to see. Ash, I think most of the people watching this will dig it. But Ash is a weird one too, because like for like well over half of the movie, I'm like, this is cool. The visuals are amazing. Like, it's beautiful. It looks kind of like Mandy. Like, it has that color palette where it's just like this crazy technicolor almost, or not technicolor, like psychedelic color palette almost. Like everything's like these blues and purples, and it's just, you know, and it's done by Flying Lotus, who's done music videos. Like, that's what and then he is a musician, and so this is like his first movie. And so for over half of it, you're like, this is cool. I like this, but it's not like blowing my doors off. Like I thought I would come out of the movie being like, yeah, it's entertaining. Yeah, it's a cool little movie. Definitely worth checking out when it's on Shudder. And then the final act, like, holy shit, dude. The movie goes full like The Thing in the final act, and it's just fucking wild, dude. It's
Spoiler
really
alert.
fucking cool. That's not the spoiler. You don't know what happens. I'm just saying it goes full batshit like The Thing in the final act. Like, it's not The Thing. It's, you know what I mean? It's not, I don't mean it as in like it's The Thing movie or a sequel or anything in that universe. I mean, it goes batshit crazy in that way where it's just like wild body horror, creature, alien, weird, like horror, like that world. It goes into that type of horror. Like you're feeling that throughout the whole movie because this girl wakes up on an alien planet, has no memory because something hit her in the head. So she's got no memory and she's the only person. And every room she goes in, someone's dead. And everybody's bloody and dead and all that, right? And so the whole movie, she's got to figure out like what happened. And so she's slowly getting these memories back. And then what's his name? The guy that was on Breaking Bad, the younger protege, John Pinkman.
Jesse Pinkman. Yeah, who did
Jesse
that?
Pinkman, that
What was
actor,
his name?
Paul,
Yeah.
something Paul. He's the other main actor in this movie.
Aaron
And
Paul.
So, like, Aaron Paul. And so then like about a third of the way into the movie, he shows up and he was on this like this spaceship, this like mothership sort of thing that's going around this alien planet. Like that, they basically came down from that to check the planet out kind of thing. And so when he doesn't hear from anybody in a while, he comes down to see what's going on. And so basically she and him have to figure out, okay, what happened here? Because like she doesn't remember anything, and he was on this other ship monitoring it, so he doesn't know what happened. And so it's got this cool mystery element. And so for, like I said, for, you know, at least half of the movie, it's kind of this mystery of you trying to figure out what happened here. But then in the final act, you start to really figure out what actually happened, and it just goes full like crazy mode. And it's cool because the whole entire movie, she has a head wound. So there's times in the movie where you're not sure if this is all in her head, you know, or if it's real things that happen. And then finally in the end, you figure out if she's just going nuts or if there are really weird stuff that actually happened, or, you know what I mean? But either way, you get the cool visuals, you know, no matter where it ends up. And it does give you a nice conclusion, but either way, you get crazy. Like there's parts where there's like, when she's getting these flashes and you see people's faces like melting and like weird ass stuff like that. And you're just like, what the fuck? Did that actually happen? Or is that like, you know, is there like some weird alien creatures that did that? Or is that just in her delusional head? And so that's why the whole movie is like these cool colors and stuff, because it gives you this sense of almost like she's in a dream, but at the same time, they're on this alien planet. And so you're like, is this what the planet actually looks like? Or is this an illusion, like a delusion? And so it's a really cool, and you're constantly like the whole entire movie, you go back and forth. Like there's plenty of parts where you're like, okay, she's definitely tripping. Like this stuff has not happened. And then you're like, actually, fuck, I think this stuff did actually happen. And like back and forth all the way to like really the final like 10 minutes or so of the movie. And you finally go, oh shit. So that's what happened, you know?
Okay. Well,
I like it,
that
especially for a very small, especially for like a very small budget movie. They did a ton with what they were working with. Like you can tell that probably 90% of the movie was done on like a green screen, but like it's okay because it's so stylized. So like it doesn't feel like CG, if that makes sense. Because like there's a lot of practical stuff, but you can tell that this doesn't have the kind of, it's a small movie like that. So it's not like you're like, there's no way they could have afforded to have this full crazy intricate alien planet behind her, you know? But at least they do go there instead of like a lot of these small budget movies where they'll just do the whole thing in basically in one room. And you're like, because, you know, you're like, well, you know, they wish they could have went outside of the room, but they couldn't afford to. Like this movie has at least enough of a budget that they do go outside of the room, so to speak. And there are some really, really good practical, like when they have to do weird ass shit, like I said, like the head melting stuff and like crazy stuff, but like other stuff that's much more wild beyond that. They do go practical. Like a lot of that stuff is very practically done.
Right on.
So it's like a good, mixture, especially for a small movie. So
that one sounds way more interesting than Opus, but I gotta watch.
It is. Like Opus is just weird. It's not like it's a bad movie. It's just a very weird movie. Like, it almost isn't like anything I've really seen because it just has this strange tone about it. And like, and so it's like,
sounds interesting.
I definitely appreciate it on its weirdness and like unique way of, and the cast is great. Like it's like a pretty star, like there's some pretty big stars in Opus that do like a really good job. So,
cool. Well, that's it. Diddy says bed DJ. It's only 1 a.m. here, so it must be like 8 p.m. there. It's 9 where I'm at, 9 p.m. And yes, that is my bedtime. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. And
hold on, you go to bed at 9?
I start my bedtime routine at 9. Yes.
Why do you get up so early?
Because I have stuff to do. And I like going to the gym early in the morning.
You actually go to the gym?
Yeah.
What do you do at the gym?
I work out.
Like
fuck you. What do I do at the gym? I work out. Jesus.
Oh, what's that song? I work out. I'm sexy and I know it.
You go to the gym? What do you do there? Just sit around?
No, I mean like early in the morning, you run on tread. I don't mean what do you do as in like you don't look like. I mean like what do you do as in actually what do you do? Like do you do treadmill? Do you do bike? Like
it depends on the day. I have a routine per day. So Monday is chest, Tuesday's back, Wednesday is shoulders, Thursday is legs.
Do you do a little cardio every day? Or is it just mostly weights?
Cardio is lifting weights.
Okay, so you don't do any of the treadmill or bike or any of that crap?
No, I just lift heavier weights. Or I try.
Okay, well, I can see that. That's easier waking up wise, at least to me. I can't picture like waking up and like early and like immediately going and like running and fucking cardio shit.
Yeah, some people do, but no, I get up.
Because like with weights, you can kind of slowly build into that. You know what I mean? Like it's
Well, working out. I mean, doing cardio, working out, doing any kind of exercise like that early in the morning actually gives you a burst of energy throughout the day. I don't get that 2 p.m. Midday crash. Like that doesn't hit me. However, 11 a.m. feels like 2 p.m. And I just look over and I'm like, it's not even noon yet. But
I used to get up at every day. I got up at 5 o'clock a.m. every day for like many, many years, like 20 years probably. I just can't have I want a good kind of routine again now, but I need my own car again to be able to like drive to a gym and,
I get it.
I don't know. Like we have a little gym here by the pool, but there's just something weird about, I don't know, working out at an apartment, because it's like a super little room and it always smells and it's so like damp feeling inside. You know what I'm talking about, right? Haven't you ever had like a little, because they're not ventilated the same. It's like a super small place.
I know.
And if you're working out and there's anybody else in there, you're like kind of like right next to each other.
Dude, just work out in your apartment. Just pull up YouTube and do like calisthenics.
I don't have any room to do that.
Just push your chair out of the way. You got room to do it. It's just using your own body weight.
I literally don't have room in my room. I kind of could in the living room, I guess, but
Nurse Joy, yes, we talked about Cujo early. You're gonna have to watch the replay, because we're nearing the end. Because as James says,
cautiously optimistic of it.
Yes, we are.
That's the best way to put all the stories that we talked about. We're cautiously optimistic about each one of the stories we talked about.
Yeah. No, it is. B-movie theater, you lift, bro. Yeah. Allison says, I have stuff to do. I just don't sleep. Well, you look like you're young, so enjoy being able to do that.
Oh, shut up, says the 30-year-old.
37, bro. I'm on the wrong side of 30.
Well, yeah, well, I'm on the wrong side of 40, so I don't want to hear it.
We're both young and spry. It's okay. Joe Bet says, same here.
Far
Early
from
bird
spry.
At a girl. Jim Early Birds. We love it.
Yeah.
Terry says, I wake up at 4:30. It's rough. Yeah, I mean, it is.
The one I don't get, I can't get people that work out late.
Yeah. I mean,
like that's maybe in the evening, like after work kind of thing. But like, I don't get people that like, it's the last thing they basically do in their day. Like, I don't understand that, because after you work out, at least I always like energy, you're like, you know what I mean? You're pumped up. Like you got to, even after you shower, you're still just like, I don't know. I can't imagine just be like, all right, now I'm going to bed.
Diddy says Monday beer, Tuesday beer, Wednesday beer, Thursday beer, Friday beer, weekend beer.
I don't do
49
any beer
retired. Attaboy. Hey, if you're retired at 49, that's good for you, man.
That's the only thing that, luckily, the only reason I'm still alive is because I don't work out, but I also don't drink at all.
Yeah. Drinking will kill you.
B-Movie
Theater says, I have a gym at home. Lucky you, buddy. I would love to have a home gym.
Yeah. I don't want a gym at home because I'm already working at home. So like I do, that's the other thing. I want to go, like it's just like I leave every day to go get something to eat outside of the apartment. It's not that I want to eat out. It's that I want to go out to get out of the house.
Yeah, I get it. Seja says stretching is something you can do when you can't work out. Yeah, that's true. And stretching feels good too. I got to go to a masseuse. That's what I need.
Yeah, I do.
My muscles are so, I'm sure they're so.
I know, me too.
Like
dude,
I
really want to as well.
I
was just asking my Neill ladies the other day if they had a good masseuse that they recommended. Because that's the problem, is finding a good one. Like,
right.
You
can get lucky.
It's not cheap.
If you find a massage school, and it's like a good school, they usually have discounted rates because their students are doing it, and you can usually find some pretty good ones. That's what I'm trying to do around here.
The only one really even kind of near me is still a minute away. Like my sister went there because my sister's was a professional masseuse, but then she got hired on by the government to do, I don't know, makes money. I don't know.
Allison says, LMFAO, I'm 34.
Well, yep. No, the LMFAO is the band. The song that happy.
Yeah, but I think she was laughing at that we were calling her young. But you look.
No, because I said, who's the band that does that song? And she said,
LMFAO. Oh, gotcha. Okay,
yeah, that's the band.
My bad. I didn't know. I'm not up on stuff like that. Okay,
when when you said I work out, and I was like, that's that song. I'm happy and you know it. Or you're happy and you know.
Oh, hey, check it out. It's Seja. I'm a professional masseuse. I'll take care of what ails you. Yeah, girl. Well, come.
But you don't live anywhere near out here. That ain't gonna help.
Come to Florida and take care of this back.
I actually don't know where she lives, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't live near either of us. I think she's like Midwest or something. I don't know. I feel like maybe she mentioned it at some point.
Well, come to Florida. It's nice and warm, and I could use your service. All right, I gotta get out of here. So if you want to end the show,
works out.
But so if you want to end the show or if you want to keep going, I think.
No. I need to hit the shower and then go get some food. And
cool. All right, cool. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a fun show. We went another 2 hours another 2 hours again. So it's looking like we're going to be a 2 hour show instead of an hour show anymore, which is fine.
Yeah, but don't count on it, because we could go and do an hour next time or 3 hours next time.
Yeah. It all depends, and hopefully, but anyway, thanks guys. We will be here. Will we be here next Wednesday? Let me look. Yes, we will be here next Wednesday. Yeah. So next Wednesday, I thought there was something going on. 7:00 Eastern, 4:00 Pacific, and whatever time that is across the pond for y'all. Seja lives in Massachusetts, but she loves to travel. Great. Awesome. But thanks again, guys.
Yeah. See, I thought it was like Midwest.
Today. You were awesome today, Chad.
Or I guess that's East Coast, huh?
It was fun to talk and debate and everything, but we'll see y'all next week. Peace out.